In the relentless Arizona sun, where desert willow estates shimmered like a postcard nobody dared smudge, Victoria Langford ruled with the kind of smile that never reached her eyes. She was HOA president, pearl necklace tight as her grip on every blade of grass, every shade of stucco, every laugh that might get too loud. For the good of the community, she'd purr while slapping fines on wind chimes or flower beds half an inch out of line. But on that sticky Thursday afternoon, her obsession with order finally stepped on the wrong piece of sidewalk. 12-year-old Lily Hale had just bounced off the school bus, backpack swinging, when she dropped to her knees on the shared courtyard path and started sketching a bright hopscotch grid. Washable chalk, 5 minutes of giggles with the neighbor kids, nothing permanent, nothing dangerous. Just a kid being a kid. Victoria spotted it from her perfectly aligned blinds and exploded out the door like a heat-seeking missile in beige flats. "Young lady, cease that vandalism immediately." Her voice cracked across the courtyard like a whip. Neighbors' curtains twitched. "This is common property under CC and RS Section 4.1. No alterations without written approval. Empty your backpack, turn out your pockets, and lift your shirt. I need to confirm there are no permanent markers or other contraband." Lily froze mid-chalk, pink dust on her fingers. "But Mrs. Langford, it washes away with water. It's just for fun. Fun does not supersede aesthetics." Victoria jabbed a finger. "Refusal equals concealment. Step aside or I call the police right now, and they will conduct a proper inspection." Gasps rippled. One mom tried to intervene. Victoria shut her down with a glare that could wilt cacti. That was the exact moment the air changed. Ethan Hale, the neighborhood's maintenance supervisor, walked up slow and steady, tool belt low on his hips, expression unreadable. Everyone knew Ethan, the quiet guy who unclogged drains at 6 a.m. and never complained. Nobody knew he'd spent the last 14 months waiting for county paperwork to clear. He placed a gentle hand on Lily's shoulder. "Victoria, it's chalk. Rain's coming tonight. Let the kid breathe." Victoria's face twisted into righteous fury. "You again, Mr. Hale. Always undermining authority. Step aside or I swear I'll have you both cited for disorderly conduct." Officer Ramirez rolled up minutes later, lights flashing but siren mercifully off. He took one look at the terrified girl clutching chalk nubs and the red-faced president demanding a full pat-down, and sighed the sigh of a man who'd seen too many HOA calls. "Ma'am, you cannot demand a strip search on a minor over sidewalk chalk. That's not how this works." Victoria launched into her greatest hits, community standards, precedent, the sacred bylaws. Ethan just crouched beside Lily, voice low. "You don't have to explain anything, sweetheart. Adults are acting like children today." Lily's small shoulders stopped shaking. The officer closed his notebook. Incident closed. No violation, no search. He shot Victoria a warning look. "Next time you waste our time on this, it goes on your record." Victoria stood there sputtering as Ethan walked Lily home, never once raising his voice. But inside their little townhouse, he held her while she cried into his shirt. "I didn't do anything wrong, Dad." "I know, baby. Some people need to feel big by making others small." What Victoria didn't know, what nobody in Desert Willow knew, was that Ethan wasn't just the guy who fixed sprinklers. 14 months earlier, exhausted from watching his late wife fight cancer in a city where rules protected nobody, he'd quietly bought the master land deeds through a family trust. Every inch of roadway, every sidewalk easement, every common area patch the HOA pretended to own. It was his quiet insurance policy, so no one could ever bully his daughter again. The final signatures had cleared that very morning. The whispers started before dinner. Ethan was way too calm. The cop talked to him like he was somebody. Board member Brendan knocked on Ethan's door after dark, looking guilty. "I didn't agree with her. That was too far." Ethan just nodded. Silence is how it keeps happening. By Friday evening the community hall was standing room only. Victoria marched to the podium in full battle pearls, binder thick enough to stop a bullet. "This man and his child are a direct threat to our standards. I move for immediate sanctions, fines, and possible eviction proceedings." Murmurs. Ethan sat in the second row, toolbox at his feet, the same dented metal box he carried every day, except today it held more than wrenches. Victoria droned on about aesthetics and moral decay until the room felt like a pressure cooker. When the chair finally gave Ethan the floor, he stood slow, walked to the front, and set the toolbox on the table with a soft clack. "Victoria," he said, voice calm enough to cut glass, "you love quoting Section 4.1. Let me quote something back. Section 7.2. Any enforcement action on common property requires explicit owner approval. She smirked. Exactly. Your daughter. No, Ethan cut in, soft but steel. You. Every fine, every inspection, every time you played God on land you never owned. Because the owner of record, the actual legal owner of every street, sidewalk, and courtyard in Desert Willow, is me. He opened the toolbox. Deeds slid across the table like a royal flush. County stamps, trust documents, recorded transfers, all dated weeks before today's circus. The room detonated. Victoria's face went the color of cheap stucco. This is forgery. Your maintenance. I fix things, Ethan said, meeting her eyes, including neighborhoods that let tyrants wear pearls. I bought the land so no kid ever has to stand shaking while some power-tripping adult demands to see under her shirt over hopscotch. The CC and RS you love? They run on my permission now. Victoria clutched the podium like it might save her. You hid this. You deceived the entire community. I didn't hide, Ethan replied, almost gentle. You just never bothered to look past the tool belt. One by one board members voted. Victoria Langford removed as president, unanimous. Gasps turned to applause. She stood there, pearls trembling, mouth opening and closing like a fish yanked onto dry land. For the first time in years, nobody rushed to prop her up. Later that night, Ethan sat on the front porch steps with Lily wrapped in a blanket, stars sharp overhead. The desert air smelled like creosote and relief. Did you really buy the whole street, Dad? Every inch. So no more Mrs. Langford yelling at us? No more. Lily leaned her head against his shoulder. You fixed it. Yeah, kiddo. Sometimes the quietest fix is the strongest. Across the courtyard, porch lights flicked on one by one. Neighbors waved instead of looking away. Brendan dropped off a six-pack with a sheepish grin. Even Officer Ramirez drove past and gave a two-finger salute. Victoria's house stayed dark. Her reign, built on fear, fines, and the illusion that rules belonged to her, had crumbled the second the real owner decided enough was enough. True or false? The real abuser of power was the HOA president who tried to strip search a child over chalk, or was it the father who quietly bought the land beneath everyone's feet? Drop your answer below. Who really got served the karma they deserved?